The Cleveland Browns entered this season with the kind of quiet pressure that only a franchise with decades of emotional baggage can feel. For years, this organization has lived somewhere between hope and heartbreak. Fans have seen rosters that looked promising, coaches who talked a big game, quarterbacks who were supposed to be the one, and moments that felt like turning points. And yet, somehow, disappointment always lurked just around the corner. But coming into this season, something felt different. The roster was deeper. The defense was respected. The coaching staff had experience. And for the first time in a long time, fans felt like the Browns were positioned not just to compete, but to finally build something stable. But as the season unfolded, optimism turned into confusion, confidence became frustration, and what once felt like a climb toward consistency suddenly looked like another chapter of unpredictability. The offense began to wobble, the quarterback situation became turbulent, and the identity of the team, something essential to any playoff contender, started slipping through the cracks. Enter Shedeur Sanders, a rising quarterback whose name is quickly becoming one of the most recognized in college football. Known for his poise, calm demeanor, and analytical approach to the game, Sanders has been praised not just for his playmaking ability, but for his understanding of football at a deeper level. Unlike many players his age, he doesn't chase loud headlines or unnecessary drama. When he speaks, it's controlled. When he gives his perspective, it's thoughtful. So when Sanders recently commented on Kevin Stefanski and the Browns, it wasn't something thrown together for attention. It was something that came from careful observation. And because of that, his words carried weight. What surprised fans wasn't that Sanders had an opinion. What stunned them was how accurate, honest, and direct his analysis felt, especially coming from someone not even in the NFL yet. His voice cut through the noise, not because it was loud, but because it was clear. And clarity is something the Browns have been desperately missing. When Sanders spoke about Cleveland, he began with what every Browns fan already feels. This team looks uncertain about who it wants to be. Stefanski is known for structure. His offense, when operating at full strength, is a system of rhythm, timing, and precise execution. It's the type of offense where every route has a purpose, every read has logic, and the entire scheme relies on the quarterback being comfortable enough to operate smoothly. But this season, the Browns haven't had that comfort. Injuries disrupted the flow. Quarterback changes disrupted the timing. And as a result, Stefanski's offense, which thrives on consistency, became unpredictable. Sanders calmly broke down this reality. He pointed out that Cleveland often looks disconnected, as if the coaching staff wants one thing while the personnel on the field are capable of another. He noted that when a coach designs an offense around stability and repetition, but the quarterback room is in constant flux, the entire rhythm collapses. Players stop trusting the timing. Receivers start hesitating. The offensive line becomes reactive instead of proactive. And suddenly, what was supposed to be a smooth, efficient offense turns into a series of stalled drives and missed opportunities. Then Sanders addressed something even more sensitive: situational play calling. For weeks, Browns fans have argued about this. Some say Stefanski plays too conservatively in crunch time. Others argue he's simply protecting his quarterback. But when Sanders broke it down, he did so with the perspective of a quarterback, someone who understands what it means to have a game in your hands during the final minutes. He observed that Cleveland sometimes falls into a pattern of hesitation, a kind of carefulness that looks like fear of losing rather than confidence in winning. And in the NFL, that difference is massive. Modern offenses thrive on assertiveness. When the moment demands a bold call, coaches who believe in their players take risks. Coaches who don't trust the situation tend to fall back on cautious decisions. Sanders didn't call Stefanski scared. He pointed out that hesitation might be a symptom of deeper issues. If a coach isn't confident that his offense can execute under pressure, he adjusts by becoming safer. And safe football rarely wins big games. But perhaps the most insightful part of Sanders' perspective was when he spoke about trust and development. He explained that players need to know their roles, especially quarterbacks. Without a clear direction, the offense operates in a fog. Receivers play more cautiously. Running backs hesitate when holes don't form where they expect. Route concepts lose their sharpness, and quarterbacks, the emotional center of the offense, struggle to feel ownership. Sanders suggested that Cleveland hasn't fully committed to a focal identity. The offense feels like it's being rewritten every week, and that instability trickles into everything the team does. What made all of this so striking was Sanders' tone. He didn't blame Stefanski. He didn't attack the Browns organization. He wasn't emotional. He simply laid out what he sees, calmly, logically, and with the precision of a film room breakdown. And because he did it without exaggeration, it hit harder than any dramatic pundit rant ever could. Once his comments reached social media, fans reacted instantly. Cleveland fans, a group that has experienced every emotional roller coaster imaginable, found themselves split. Many praised Sanders for his honesty. They argued that he said what analysts have been afraid to admit. They appreciated that he didn't sugarcoat anything but also didn't turn his analysis into cheap criticism. They respected the maturity he showed. Other fans felt defensive. They argued that Sanders doesn't fully understand what Stefanski is dealing with. They pointed out the injuries, the inconsistency at quarterback, and the challenges of managing an offense that has rarely had the same lineup for more than 2 consecutive weeks. They said that Sanders, talented as he is, hasn't lived the reality of coaching under those conditions. But the real reason the fan base reacted so strongly is because Sanders' comments touched on the emotional truth of this season. Cleveland is stuck between potential and execution. The talent is there. The coaching structure is there. The desire is there. But the results have been inconsistent, and Sanders simply held up a mirror to that reality. National analysts also took notice. Many praised Sanders for his calm, professional tone, saying he broke down the Browns situation like a seasoned veteran rather than a young quarterback still rising in the sport. Some even suggested that Sanders' ability to analyze another team's offense with such depth reinforces the belief that he'll make a strong NFL leader one day. His comments weren't hot takes, they were insights. And then, naturally, the conversation shifted toward Kevin Stefanski. Stefanski is a coach who rarely shows panic. He speaks with composure, thinks analytically, and carries himself like someone who trusts the process of football. He's the type of coach who believes that structure and preparation eventually win out, even when things look shaky. But the reality is that even the calmest coaches feel pressure, especially when the offense, the part of the team he directly oversees and the area where his reputation was built, struggles to find its rhythm. The Browns' defense has done its job repeatedly and kept the team competitive week after week. It's the offense that continues to unravel at the worst possible moments, which places a spotlight directly on Stefanski's system, decisions, and leadership style. Stefanski now stands at an interesting and critical point in his coaching journey. He's respected around the league. He's proven that his system can work when the right pieces are in place. He helped lead the Browns to one of their best seasons in decades not long ago. But this year has challenged every part of that belief. The setbacks, the offensive miscues, and the lack of identity have raised questions that Stefanski has never had to answer so directly before. Sanders didn't undermine Stefanski. He simply pointed out what many have quietly observed. The offense needs to evolve. The team needs to adjust faster when adversity hits. And the identity of the unit must be clearer and more defined, regardless of who lines up under center. The truth is that Cleveland is standing at a crossroads. Teams with strong rosters don't stay together forever. Veteran players get older. Contracts expire. Coaches are judged year by year, sometimes week by week. Windows of opportunity close far quicker than they open. And if the Browns hope to maximize their potential and avoid wasting another year of top-tier defensive play, they must answer several hard questions. Sanders' comments highlighted those questions plainly. Who is the offense built around? What identity does the team want to commit to long-term? Can Stefanski adapt when circumstances force him out of his comfort zone? And most importantly, how will Cleveland respond when the pressure reaches its peak and the season hangs in the balance? Sanders' perspective also reveals something important about him as a player. He has a mature understanding of football strategy, far beyond what most young quarterbacks display publicly. He sees beyond highlight plays and viral moments. He studies why teams succeed and why they collapse. He understands the nuance, the timing, and the emotional balance required to lead a team. His calm demeanor isn't a performance, it's a reflection of who he is. And that composure, paired with his analytical mind, will serve him extremely well when he eventually steps into an NFL locker room. As for the Browns, the reaction to Sanders' comments becomes a reflection of the larger emotional state surrounding the team. Fans are tired of promising seasons that fall apart in slow, painful fashion. They're tired of offensive confusion and inconsistency. They're tired of seeing the defense carry game after game while the offense sputters at critical moments. They want clarity in the game plan, direction from the coaching staff, and consistency in execution. Sanders didn't criticize. He articulated those desires in a way that felt honest and grounded. Moving forward, Cleveland's path is both challenging and full of potential. The season is not lost, but the margin for error is shrinking quickly. If the team steadies itself, defines its offensive identity, and embraces the need for adaptation, it can still salvage something meaningful from this season. The pieces are there. The talent is there. The question is whether the leadership will meet the moment, whether Stefanski will adjust, whether the offense will respond, and whether the team can unify around a clearer sense of who they are. In the end, Sanders' comments weren't fireworks. They were a spotlight. A calm, steady spotlight that revealed the Browns exactly as they are. Talented but uncertain, capable but inconsistent, promising but unfinished. Whether the team uses that reflection as motivation to improve or shrugs it off as outside noise will determine the rest of their season. Every decision, every adjustment, and every moment of leadership will now be viewed through the lens of whether the Browns rise to the challenge or allow this year to slip away like so many before it. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the Browns, Kevin Stefanski and Shedeur Sanders' remarkably honest analysis, I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown and you want more detailed NFL insights delivered in a calm, thoughtful style, make sure to hit that like button. Share this video with your fellow football fans. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got new stories, breakdowns, and NFL discussions coming every single week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.